It's really important to have the capsules tested. And I'd say that, regardless of what comes up on the testing for your capsules, the treatment plan that I recommend is not too much different. If I don't have a stool test, in other words, like the stool tests that I use are not, hey, let's just look for some bugs. Let's just see if you got some bacterias and candida and parasites. It's not just looking for bugs. I just put up a post on my Instagram too, if you guys want to follow me, Diane Kaiser, about this. There's something called 7 Eyes, and it's called, the 7 Eyes of, sounds like eyes, but the 7 Eyes of testing is to look for different things inside of your gut, because your gut represents 80% of your immune system. And it also is responsible for making 80% of your serotonin. Serotonin is your happy, feel-good neurotransmitter. Serotonin is anti-inflammatory. Serotonin also helps with your migrating motor complex. In other words, helps you poop. And so constipation is really common for women after their surgery, and then even beyond that and even before that. So it's really important to make sure that your drainage pathways are as open as possible before your surgery and after, and we can talk about that too.
You're listening to Cleanse, Heal, Ignite podcast, and I'm your hostess, Diane Kaiser, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, former pro soccer player, transformational leader, holistic healer, and life purpose coach, helping you and your business awaken to your full potential. We are a transformation tribe of visionaries empowering passion-quenching, heart-centered advice to wellness warrior leaders on self-love, nutrition, mindset, and divorcing perfectionism. Our mission is to help you laugh your way to a sexy belly, love your way to vitality, and live your life with purpose by sharing real talk and truth drops that will help you cleanse your body, heal your hormones, and ignite your life. Side effects of this podcast may include all-day energy, happy hormones, perfect poops, increased confidence, becoming your own best healer, and catching the self-love virus. There's currently no vaccination to protect you from this and no known cure. In most cases, listeners experience a strong desire to accept new challenges, ditch toxic people, follow their heart, and dance like no one's watching. If you experience moods happier than usual, live it unapologetically and share with your social media friends immediately.
I'm the author of Killer Breasts, and I also have a special gift for you guys today. So be sure that you stick around to receive it. How many of you guys know who I am? I'm Diane Kaiser. Kazer. And I've been a part of this group, not always super active because I've been building a lot of things to help everybody, help many women from around the world get through and prepare for and help to heal and detox after explant. And I have been a part of this group now since, when did Anna start this group? 2000 and I want to say like 17 or 16. So when she first sent me this group and the article that she wrote on the ticking time bomb, breast implant illness, I was like, no, it's not my breast implants. And so I was like, okay, well, there's a part of me where a weed got planted in my head. Actually, it was a seed that got planted in my head that notified me that it could be this weed known as breast implants that was the ticking time bomb making me super sick. And I was in denial at first. It took me a couple of years to come around to believing that it might be, because I was experiencing many side effects and is in and out of the ER, in and out of the urgent care, multiple medications, colonoscopies twice, literally in bed thinking I was going to die multiple times, and come to find that it was my breast implants, it was pink hair, and it was Botox that were all killing me slowly. And then it felt like it was killing me fastly. So this is not I don't want to make this all about me. I want this to be about you guys today. And I want you guys to be able to ask questions, because it's a very scary journey to go on your own, right? I want you to know that you're not alone. And I want you to know that there's many, many of us who have gone through this journey and are on the other side of it. And many of you who are out there, maybe you have already, removed your breast implants. Maybe you already have explanted, but you're still not feeling your breast and you're confused and maybe frustrated as to why. I always say that if you're not feeling amazing 3 to 6 months post explant, then there's a big step that we're missing. And we're going to talk about some of the myths today on what people think on when they explant, then things are miraculously supposed to just get better. Or if they just try this one thing, or maybe it's just a detox reaction, or maybe they just need to, do a candida cleanse or a parasite flush and then they're done, or just take some zeolites and that's it. So I have a lot of things I want to cover today with you guys so that you leave feeling empowered, that there are things that you can do yourself, or you can ask for help, how to get help. If you don't have my book already, Killer Breasts, I highly recommend that you grab that. That's on Amazon. And I haven't really put it out there a lot just yet because I've been so busy launching a whole bunch of other stuff. And oh, I see Anna. So I want to hear from you guys as I'm bringing on Anna. I would love to hear from you all as to where you're at on your journey. Are you a woman who has breast implants and she's just exploring? Could it be my breast implants that might be causing, oh, this is a fake tooth. See my lipstick? I get lipstick on this fake tooth. Yeah, I want to talk about natural beauty. Here you go. how to really love yourself when you're missing a tooth and you don't have double D's anymore. Like how do we identify as natural beauty, right? But no, I removed my root canal after I took my breast implants out because I was like, get all this fake stuff out of my body because I don't want any of it in here. You know, I want to give my body the greatest chance of healing. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff today too. Anyway, let me put it back in. I hope you guys are laughing and making fun of me right now because it's meant to be funny. Deborah, oh, you heard of me through, let's see here. Rita says, I saw you on the Dr. Bergman podcast. Awesome. Oh, that was a good show. We're going to do another one tomorrow, Rita. I hope you're learning a lot through there in the sovereignty movement. Deborah, I know of you. Grateful for your sharing. Yay, Deborah. Madalena, yay, welcome. And then had your explant last Friday. Jessica, that's great. Congratulations. Welcome to Freedom, sister. Now it's on the other side of that, removing a lot of the residue. Jennifer says, the other Jennifer says, I just explanted 412, which was about 9 days ago, had saline implants under the muscle for 19.4 years. Crazy. It feels like a divorce, right? That's a long time. The longer we've had them in, the longer it takes to heal. But I want you to have some patience. We'll talk about that today. And then Libby says, I'm explanting May 5th and really interested in the healing process. Yay, May 5th. That's Cinco de Mayo. So that's their own freedom day, right? It'll be your freedom day. And I have had mine for 20 years and I'm 39. Can't wait to get all this out. Woo, 20 years, right? Okay, there's so much I have to say, but I want to bring on Anna. Hold on a second. More promote to panelists. Here comes Anna Rogers. As I'm bringing her on, is she coming on? I want you guys to know some of the things that we're going to talk about today too are her journey to explant herself.
I'm sorry, I am such a dingbat. I didn't know what link to use and I was getting confused and yeah, but I made it. Thank you. I'm sorry everyone for being so late.
No worries. Let's just call it brain fog because of the breast implants.
Totally. Yes, it is. It has to be that. I'm looking forward to not having that anymore because sometimes I feel like I'm 85.
Oh God,
Don't know
right?
where things are.
Yeah.
But you're so sweet. I had a little giggle when you pulled your tooth out, and it's quite funny. I've the same tooth that you've had that problem with. I had a massive tooth infection in that exact same one about 6 weeks ago, and I've never had a tooth infection before.
Oh, wow.
And it got really swollen. It was traveling up here, which was really scary. And yeah, I wonder if there's a link between that and the fact that our bodies just can't fight things very well when it has these two big toxic things in there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that you mentioned that too, Anna, because what I really like to do with all of you is manage your expectations. And I want to help you all feel like you have an idea of what the road could look like. And then also what other roadblocks could be there, right? Because, just like you said, Anna, and so many people say behind the curtain is and the one I address the most is I remove my breast implants and I still don't feel as good as I want to. So it's like, well, first of all, what is as good as I want to look like? Like, do you want to look and feel like you're 21 again? Those are unrealistic Instagram filters and Snapchat filters and TikTok filters that are just, that's fake as our breast implants were. Right. So it's a mindset, not just removing your breast implants, but also removing this fake mindset, this plastic prison that we've been put in with cultural condition that we have to look perfect and beautiful all the time. Right. So it's like, what are your expectations there? And then there's other things, these other roadblocks that could be cavitations, where these little pockets of parasites live after we've had our wisdom teeth pulled, which 86% of people who have had wisdom teeth pulled, any one of them, which the majority of us have had our wisdom teeth pulled, right? Doesn't mean we're not wise anymore, but it just means that the way that they actually treat those holes is not wise. It's not biological dentistry. And so 86% of us who've had our wisdom teeth pulled have some kind of a cavitation, which means there's parasite pockets. There's little bugs that live in these holes, just like these capsules, so these holes up here in our teeth are just like the holes right here on our breast. So there's so much more to it. 75% of chronic disease comes from our mouth. And, a big part of this for us women is getting these out and then also looking at other possibilities like mercury fillings, cavitations, root canals. There's so many more things to it. And I'm not here to overwhelm you guys. I just want to manage your expectation, to know how to prepare for this, like Anna's doing. And then also to know how to baby step healing from this after, and then also what other things your body will now have the energy to go after. Because like you said, Anna, when you take these out, these breast implants out, your immune system can go, okay, I don't have to go after these anymore. Now I can address these other things. So thanks for bringing that up. Now, Anna, when is your date? When is your date? Tell everybody when your date.
Next Thursday. Yeah, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So the 29th. So I'm starting to feel nervous, and it's a strange feeling. It's like excitement on one hand and then absolutely fearful on the other. And, I think my biggest thing is the pain factor. That's what is worrying me the most, because I remembered how painful it was when they were put in. And I know that the surgery is going to be more intense than that. So, but I also know there's mind over matter, and it'll just be a test of my mental strength as well, to be able to try and handle it as best I can, and just take each day as it's closer to being better.
Yeah. And these fears, they're valid. You have a valid reason. I want all of you to know, just like Anna, these fears are valid, and then there's also usually undertones of fear that, like, who am I without my breast implants? Like, how am I going to look? Do you have any of that, Anna?
Not really. No.
Good.
No. I mean, it's not really worried me. I mean, I know they'll be smaller, but I actually think if he does a great job, then I'll be happy with them, because I've been not happy with the way they look for years, because they were too big. They get in the way, and there's clothes I can't wear because big boobs can make you look cheap.
Yeah. And swollen.
Yeah. And I can't wait just to be smaller again, and to be able to wear things that are a little bit revealing but don't look as in your face as they do now.
In your face and your own face, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it's a strange feeling. I mean, my procedure is a little bit stressful in that I have to get a PCR test done, and I'm really unhappy about that, because they're bullshit tests and they're invasive, and it's kind of scaring me the most out of stuff that I have to do, really. I'm just going to pray that the person that doesn't shove it too far up.
Let me lend you some advice here on that one, Anna. And here's what I want you ladies to all listen to, as well as how I might have some tips for Anna that she's never heard, because I've been working with women on the other side of breast implant illness and helping them, like I said, to get to the point of explant. And one thing to know about me is I'm not here to toot my horn. I'm not here with ego. I'm here as a warrior. And I'm here as a warrior to be a guide and a signboard, if you will, an example that you could look at and say, if it worked for her, then maybe it can work for me too. Mm-hmm. And it really does take courage, and it takes some persistence. And it's also, part of the reason we got breast implants is because we wanted to fit in. We wanted to, and the root of it is definitely people pleasing, whether that's we want to please ourselves or other people. We weren't born as babies, obviously saying, I want breast implants. This has been programmed into us, just as it's been programmed into us to just go with the flow and just be nice and, don't rock the boat and just be a yes girl. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be a yes girl. And so Anna might have already done some things to say, is there anything else we can do other than the PCR? Is there an antigen test that we can take? And I'll just share the success story. I don't know if you've done this yet, Anna, but one of the gals that I'm working with right now, she has her explant tomorrow, actually. Really exciting. And she heard me on the Wendy Myers podcast. She was really disappointed, just like you. She's really disappointed and more afraid of that than her surgery. And I said, wait, and this is in America, of course. This is in Arizona and Scottsdale where she's asking this. And I said, ask your doctor, tell your doctor or the front desk staff, because you usually talk to them. Tell them that you have severe sinus issues and that you've been battling them for years. You have severe allergies and you're very concerned about having something lodged up into your nose, and ask them if there's a way that you can do the antigen test instead, because you're afraid that you might have some sort of terrible reaction, especially prior to the surgery. So that does one of two things. They might think, well, I might lose a lot of money by not being able to give you the surgery, the same day or the next day. And the second thing is that puts some liability, on them, because if something happens, then they might be liable. So what they said to her is, yes, we can do an antigen test. The other option that I work with another gal is that they are allowing her to self-administer it. So have you tried that yet, Anna? Any of those two things?
No. So where I'm getting the test done is a clinic in the place I live in the morning, and then I have to drive up to San Jose to see the doctor. So, but I've already been in touch about, can I use an alternative? And they said it has to be either a blood test showing positive antibodies to coronavirus or the PCR test.
Positive? They want positive?
Yeah. Hasn't it got to look like you've had coronavirus?
They're wanting you to have a positive blood test?
I think so. Don't they want to show that you've had the antibodies so that you can't be sharing it? You know what I mean? So if you had the MMR, and someone wanted you to have it again, you'd be like, no, I have a blood test to show I've got the antibodies to it.
The way that I've heard it is that they want you to have a negative PCR test here in America. But the thing is with the blood testing is not as accurate, but blood testing is also not as invasive as a PCR test. So if I were you, do a blood test, if you have the option.
Yeah, I'll get the, I'm pretty sure it was the opposite. I think they want positive antibodies.
PCR and only PCR.
Blood test.
Blood test is great.
Yeah, but no, but they need to see that you've had coronavirus, so that you can't share it again. That's what I'm saying. Like with the blood test, it's not negative antibodies, it's positive antibodies. So it looks like you've had it already. So
that's interesting. Maybe it's shifted since the people have been getting a lot of shots.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? Yeah, I'll get the blood test, because even though I had a bioresonance test and it said I had positive coronavirus to it. So yeah. Well, let's get some clarity for everybody on that. We'll put that in the replay. We'll put that in the group too, because I'm curious about America. It's different stories with different doctors, different states, different nations. It's not across the board. And actually that's against the Amendment 14. And so the things that I research, here in America as well as the world is the sovereignty movement, whereby the 14th Amendment was never fully ratified. And what that means is that states cannot, it's illegal to have their own jurisdiction of rules and mandates. And so, I mean, if you guys are getting surgery tomorrow, that's not going to be of any help to you. But just, knowing how to fight for your freedoms and knowing how to stand for yourself is how we become a warrior through this whole journey too. And, for me, I don't know if anybody has read my book just yet, but they told me no 3 times to approving my explant for surgery. No 3 times. I said, okay, well, just keep going. Why did they say no? Oh, you mean the insurance people?
Insurance. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying. Yes. So they're like, no. Wow. And I reached out to a doctor who's on my list of qualified doctors, and they said no. They said no. They said no. And I was like, let me sit down and do some research. So I sat down for a few hours, did a lot of research, found the loopholes, got my doctor and the whole team, the front desk staff to work with me. And I said, if you use me as a template, you could use this for other women too, and know how to fight and fight fair, not, And so we fought fair. And the 4th time, I got my doctor to sit down with the guy that would approve it or not. And we got it covered. So I saved $5,000.
That's amazing. Plus you'd be helping pave the way for other women.
That was the biggest one. Is like,
wow, you're
money,
amazing.
Sure. But like, I want all of you to know how to fight for yourself. But it doesn't have to look like World War II when you fight. It could just be like, listen, I know my rights, and I know that, and I also would like to know if this is a possibility. And you don't have to be a boundary bitch. You could just be a boundary badass.
I've just had a moment where I felt this is so surreal, because for those that don't know Diane and I, because I started this group, wrote an article, went viral about 5 years ago, had 1 million hits, and then it started this group. And then did I share my article with you? I think that's
Yeah.
how it must have happened.
I was laying in bed one day feeling like crap. And then you sent it to me and I was like, I was like,
Like you just didn't want to know, did you? No, isn't that funny? And then I kind of didn't want to know either, even though I'd written it and I knew what these things were doing. I was in denial. I thought, oh no, they're not leaking, they're not painful, they're not doing anything to me. And I literally pushed it under the carpet for years because of the fear of the pain. And then here we are sitting today. You've had yours taken out, you've written a book, you've put this amazing course together that I want to talk about in a minute because it's absolutely mind-blowing what you've done. And then next week I get mine out. It's like a full circle moment, really. But what I would say, because I know we have a lot of women in the group that come in here to get information before they make a decision. Hand on my heart, I really hope that you do loads more research into this and listen to the stories of people like Diane and I, and that these things are not worth what you think they'll be good for, because I really regret doing them. On one hand, I don't, because of the movement that I'm really proud to be a part of and that it's inspired you and with what you're doing, Diane. But it's crazy what we're doing as a society to ourselves because we don't feel like we're enough. And for me, it was crazy because I didn't hate my boobs. They were just a bit small, and it was just pure vanity for me. I wanted them and 3 weeks later I got them put in. And what's really surreal is that I had them put in this time 14 years ago. I had them done for my 30th birthday and I'm 44 in May. And it's so surreal how that timing has worked out. But it's just not worth it. As the research shows, they will eventually start to make you ill. It's impossible for them not to because of the way the body works. They're two foreign objects full of chemicals. When women get told it's made with saline and a bit of silicone, it's not true. There are so many other ingredients that actually are not written on the packages, and most plastic surgeons don't even know what's in them. There is not one natural ingredient in them. And, we're living in such a toxic environment anyway, that people are struggling enough as it is without having implants. You have to fight for your health so much these days. And yeah, I always had quite fragile health. So for me to put these in, just insane. But
yes,
I'm very lucky. I've now got the funds to get them out, and I've got the funds to help buy supplements and things. And but there are women that we know that want them out and they don't have any money, and no one will tell you this when you go in to have a consultation. They'll never say to you there could be problems, you might need to spend double, triple the amount that it's going to cost to put you in. No one's giving you informed consent, and that I think is disgraceful. And it's kind of how the whole medical industry is. But you need to know this, and people only learn from people like Diane and myself and other women that have been through this. But it is not worth it. It is not worth it at all.
right.
Sorry, had to get that out.
No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful epiphany because, like we talked about, you started this and now you're finishing it. And, we did this interview and we, for those of you who haven't yet seen it, when you get my book, Killer Breast, you get a ton of bonuses. And one of them was, I thought it would be really warming and supportive to have, and for all of you to see who are on the fence, a whole bunch of women who were on the other side of Explant and where they are now. It's kind of like those reunions from when you were watching Friends and it's like, oh, here's Friends, where are they now? And they have a reunion, or, where are they now? What have they done with their life? And people are so afraid of the other side. And it's normally not really a fear of much other than the unknown. Most humans are wired to fear the unknown. And so I wanted to give you the known. I wanted to give you more of a security, hearing how women got over their insecurity and how you can get over your insecurities by listening to so many women. And Anna was the only one. And I said, I really wanted it to be a series of 15 women speaking on their journey to the other side of breast implant illness and explant. And Anna was the only one I asked that hadn't yet removed hers because I wanted to honor her for all the work that she has done to start this movement. And she was like, on the webinar, I remember that you said, okay, I'm
so embarrassed. Yeah. It definitely inspired me to really make the decision where I was like, 2021, gonna do it. But I was really ashamed to be there because I felt like a hypocrite and just embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, and really with the group that I started, I've not really been in it because I couldn't handle reading things because it was tough to read. So I'm hoping that after this experience, I'll actually make more of an effort to connect with people and have knowledge, like proper knowledge to share with people. And just wanted to say, sorry, all the people that have been cheering me on to do this, it means a lot. Because it's, when you have all these fears and then when, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. And just when you have these worries and women are saying, I've done it, it's the best thing I've ever done, it gets you through it because, loving, supportive thoughts are really powerful. So I may put a little message in the group next Thursday and say, please give me some best wishes.
Well, I think that regardless of you putting the post up or not, I think that, we all should be sharing, everybody write down on your calendar. What'd you say it was the date again? April
29th.
29th.
Thursday morning, I'd assume that we'll go in.
So 4/29 is Anna's removal date. She started a fire and then hid behind the flames. And we all do that. We all hide in some way. And for many of us, I believe that breast implant illness or breast implants have been something we've been hiding our hearts behind, and the power of what it truly means to be a strong, sovereign, soft, whatever woman it looks like that you came here to be. And now that you can't hide anymore, it's like now our truth comes out. So I want to talk today about, the truth about all these things. I want to answer your questions too. So let me give you a bit of a framework for today, what we're going to cover in the next half hour. And then I wanted to give some time for some Q&A because you guys are asking questions in the chat and making comments. I want to just, as we're hostessing this, I love the chat. I love to hear your guys' stories, and I'm going to save all of them. So if there's some things I can't get to today with Anna, myself, then I will make sure that I post them in the group and address anything, and maybe do a little separate video since I'm an admin in that group as well. So if there's some things that we don't have enough time for, don't worry, I still have the chat on the side that I'll save. The Q&A is a great place. So Maria just asked a question, which is a great question. Where do we post comments or questions, chat or Q&A? So in order to stay organized, if you could do us a favor, in the Q&A section, and if you know Zoom, you can just see on the bottom, it says Q&A. So you can click that and then ask a question there. That will allow us to stay organized, because if you're posting questions in the chat and the chat is doing this, it's going to take a long time for us to go through all of that. So if there's any that I miss, I will, if there's any questions in the chat, I will go back and address them in the group and by the end of the week. But please, any questions you'd like us to do specifically, myself and Anna, please post them in the Q&A. If there's questions that you guys have for each other, did anybody else do this or you can put that in the chat. Okay. So that's the best way to do that. So thank you for the question, Maria. I'm just going to go ahead and address that I answered that. And then what I want to cover is some context for today. So if you guys need to leave at any specific time and you want me to address a question or Anna to address a question before you need to hop off, post that in the Q&A. Hey, I have to leave at it's 10:30 where I'm at in Pacific time. So if you guys know you have to leave at a certain time, put that in the Q&A and we'll make sure to get to it because we want to make sure that we can stay as structured as possible. We have a lot of things to cover. The first thing we're going to cover is the toxic truth about breast implants that every woman should know that your doctor didn't and might not tell you. Doctors are only there for the surgery removal process. They're not nutritionists. They're not detox experts. They don't know what kind of labs to run to see how, your hormones are functioning, blood tests. And I'll stop and pause for a moment so I could say this with emphasis. Blood tests are a very poor assessment to gather the true health and function of your entire body. If you were given a blood test and they're like, oh, well, you're a picture of health, but you feel like crap, It's because blood testing is the most archaic way of testing anything. It's great to test your thyroid, but still most doctors are not testing the proper things like iron and ferritin and selenium. And they have really wide ranges of vitamin D. So like it's between 30 and 100. And if you're like at 31, they're like, you're in range, everything looks normal. They won't look for, oh, it's like one number at the lowest point. Where there is in functional medicine, which is what I practice, is the target would be between 60 and 80, right? That's where you're going to feel good. And the reason why so many of us don't feel good is that doctors are trained to look at, are you in range or not? Versus here's like badass, we want you to be right here. And that's what functional medicine looks at. And so if anybody in the chat want to tell us, I was the picture of health according to my doctor, but I felt like hell. So, that's just one thing to keep in mind, is that your surgeon is good at breast implant illness. Your doctor should be good at, properly removing your capsules, knowing how to do it safely, knowing not to leave poisons inside of you during the removal. And it's important you have a good relationship with them, but they're not your healer, right? They're not God. They're not going to, be there with you after this whole process, with the exception of a couple follow-up sessions. The second thing, we're going to talk about some myths today, ladies, because I do talk about this in my book. I talk about this in my ebook. I'm going to be giving you guys a book today. For those of you who stay till the end, I'm going to be giving you a free gift. And so the Explant Myth is a series of 8 myths that I've gathered over what I've heard women, and including myself, my first myth, and these are beliefs that we tend to carry around that continue to hurt us because they're blind spots. My breasts feel fine, so therefore there's nothing wrong with my breast implants. That's one of the biggest ones. So we're going to talk about some of those today. And then we're going to talk about the right way to detox and heal your brain and hormones, and the place to find that, but to also to heal all these things at the same time, your gut, your brain, and hormones at the same time without losing your shit. And what I say is, most get this completely wrong, feel worse, or go broke, because they think that, someone else did this here. I'm going to buy whatever supplement she talked about, and I'm just going to do that. That's what I call shooting in the dark. And I see women coming to me, and I'm not exaggerating. Most women who come to me after trying this on their own have spent, not to scare you, Anna, but I know we've talked about this behind the scenes. One woman had just spent $15,000 on a series of hyperbaric oxygen treatments, which are great, but it's not the end all.
Do everything. Yeah. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's other women who have spent $32,000 working with 10 plus doctors. Okay. Let me just put a position like this. Worked with 10 doctors. Anna, how many of them, and everybody in the chat, how many of them do you think asked this patient if they had breast implants on their intake form?
I'm going to guess none.
A big fat goose egg, right?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
Fuck is right. So you're like, my mission is and I'm working with so many doctors. Dr. Bergman's one of them. Someone mentioned that I was in Dr. Bergman's YouTube channel the last couple weeks, and I will be tomorrow as well. He's got over 700,000 followers, and he's been interviewing me on his channel, because we're talking about a lot of things that people don't think outside the box about, because they're not trained in medical school, this stuff, right? And it's not the doctor's fault. It's the training, right? So $30,000 plus, and women are going blood tests, scans, MRIs, CAT scans, this drug, that drug, this detox, this IV treatment, this chelation, this hyperbaric. You guys, it's madness.
Yep.
Madness.
Yeah, that's bad.
So what I say in my book, and I talk about this, is that anybody you're working with needs to have 3 things: experience working with hundreds of women who have had breast implant illness, education, who truly understands the right labs to run, the right things to know as far as what supplements work for women, the right healing things, histamine reactions, cytokine storms, what the immune system status is on labs, what to look for. Really, it's like what to look for. There is no education on breast implant illness. We're paving the way here. You guys are a part of it, right? So that's why, like in my book, this is the education that I want every doctor to know about. And then also
it's an amazing book, by the way, everyone. It's such a good book.
And you're in here with my dedication too.
I know. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, so surreal.
Yeah. Well, hey, you started it. You started it.
So yeah, well, it's so funny, isn't it? Because just one person can show you in a direction. And my friend Lauren off Instagram was the friend that opened my eyes to it. And then I wrote that article, and here we are. It's surreal. So everyone who has a story, you need to share it, because you could literally impact, even if it's just one person, that's better than nothing, but it could be loads of people. I wanted to ask you, did you get your implants tested when they came out? Have you had what was inside them tested? Because
yes,
I think my doctor has the option to do that for me.
You mean for like mold and everything, to have them tested for mold?
Yeah.
I had them tested. I didn't have the inside of them tested. They tested the outside of them. It's really tricky, the whole testing the inside of them and having them tested for mold. There's really not a reliable place to do that unless there is one and where you are, and you're the country that you are.
I think there's some famous man in Canada.
There was.
That does them. Oh,
he
there
used
was.
To. No, he
doesn't
used
do
to.
Them anymore.
No. I talk about that in my modules, too, because I was like, well, I want to get all the testing I can, but it could rack up, the testing that I do think that, And like Jessica says, my doctor includes the testing for the capsules, and absolutely, Jessica, yes, please. Yes, ma'am. It's really important to have the capsules tested. And I'd say that, regardless of what comes up on the testing for your capsules, the treatment plan that I recommend is not too much different. If I don't have a stool test, in other words, like the stool tests that I use are not, hey, let's just look for some bugs. Let's just see if you got some bacterias and candida and parasites. It's not just looking for bugs. I just put up a post on my Instagram too, if you guys want to follow me, Diane Kaiser, about this. There's something called 7 eyes. And it's called, the 7 eyes of, sounds like eyes, but the 7 eyes of testing is to look for different things inside of your gut, because your gut represents 80% of your immune system. And it also is responsible for making 80% of your serotonin. Serotonin is your happy, feel good neurotransmitter. Serotonin is anti-inflammatory. Serotonin also helps with your migrating motor complex. In other words, helps you poop. And so constipation is really common for women after their surgery, and then even beyond that, and even before that. So it's really important to make sure that your drainage pathways are as open as possible before your surgery and after. And we can talk about that too. But the 7 eyes I talk about with regard to why it's so important to look into your gut, is we're looking at function. The terrain of your gut makes all the difference in the world to how your body recovers after surgery. During when you're in there, so you don't have to fear your body. It's, it's fighting for you if you have everything functioning well. And again, blood tests do not show you this. They might show you some homocysteine, and they might show you your liver function and how your immune system, if it's fighting hard or not. It's not unvaluable. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as a standalone, it's pretty piss poor when we're looking at optimal function. So the 7 eyes are infections, which can include, like I said, bacteria, candida, viruses, and parasites, right? And then we're looking at imbalances, good versus bad bugs. If you have more bad than good, it's called dysbiosis. And that's really common today. I mean, this is pretty much all of us at this point. And then inflammation in the colon. Inflammation is the root cause of 95% of disease. So people are like, have you worked with somebody with breast implant illness and this disease and this disease and this disease? I'm like, yeah, we have. But here's the thing. There are literally hundreds of autoimmune diseases, all these rare cancers, and thousands of different diagnoses, but there's nothing rare about any of them. The root is very, very simple: toxins and trauma and infections and stress. And it spells TITS: toxins, infections, trauma, and stress. So yes, you may have a disease, but these diseases are merely the doctor's way of saying, here's a series of symptoms that you have that puts you in a box, but no one talks about how you got there, do they? So anyway, inflammation is the root cause of many of these diseases. So we want to address the root of it, which is because of the TITS, the toxins, infections, trauma, and stress. Integrity of the gut lining is important. So many people have leaky gut, and they'll go run a ton of tests to go food sensitivities, leaky gut, blood tests, stool test, Dutch test. Let's look at neurotransmitter. They end up coming to me with 8 tests, and they just spent $5,000. And they work with, yet again, here's this another story of a woman that just came to me working with a very famous brain doctor. And
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I can't say names, right? But she's a friend of mine, and she's great, but she doesn't know breast implant illness. And so they put her on 25 supplements a day. This woman has breast implants. She's already struggling to absorb anything. So what's going to happen with all those supplements?
They will not be absorbed, be a waste.
They're not going to be absorbed. They're going to get stuck as like it's this gelatinous thing that now blocks her colon even more.
Yeah.
And it just gets stuck. And it's very expensive. It's $500 a month plus for all those supplements. And
Wow.
the doctor didn't talk about the breast implants, didn't talk about a couple other things, but they didn't run the root cause labs. They looked at neurotransmitters and amino acids and all the, food sensitivities and all these things up here. And that's at branch level is what I call it, but we didn't look at the roots. The roots is toxins, infections, trauma, and stress. And those breast implants are part of the toxic overload. And then we look at impairments in digestion. So most of us all have leaky gut at this point. I don't know if you really need a $300, $500 test to do that. I just say everybody pretty much has leaky gut.
You know
just
that you
feel
got
it.
it. You feel it. It feels inflamed in the morning.
Yeah. And then, like you said, you're not absorbing your food very well. Food just kind of sits and it's like a brick. And then the impairments in digestion is the majority of us have enzymes, bile deficiencies, stomach acid. I ran tests on over 25 women in the last 6 months who've had breast implant illness and breast implants or just got them out. Guess how many of them out of 25, Anna, had H. pylori, which is a bug that turned 24 out of 25.
Oh, 24. Okay. Wow.
And one of them had like a little bit, but not enough to be like treatment worthy. And so 24 to 25, you guys, H. pylori is what causes stomach cancer. I'm not saying that to scare you, but I'm just saying this because if we have low stomach acid in our stomach, which stomach acid's good, it's just bad when it's too much or too little. H. pylori is a bacteria that is very common in women with breast implant illness. It turns down the stomach acid so the bugs can sit in the hot tub that is the stomach because there's not as much acid in there so they can thrive. And if you don't have stomach acid, you're not breaking down your food well. You're not going to break down proteins to amino acids, to neurotransmitters. Your small intestine is going to be bloated. It's going to be feeding bugs. You're not going to be pooping very well. You're not going to feel very energetic and you're going to feel like your skin's sagging, you're aging fast. So that's really important to look for too, but not just look for bugs, but look for the whole function. Immune system function is number 6. And then intolerance to gluten is another one. Because a lot of women struggle with gluten and dairy and a lot of these other, fake foods. They can't drink alcohol anymore. But anyway, that's the average woman today too. It's not just women with breast implant illness. So I wanted to cover those because you asked the question, about function and about what we can do to prepare our bodies for this. And the answer I always say is get your gut right and get your God right. Get your gut right. Whatever God looks like to you is like a higher power. So I just kind of went on a rant there.
That's good. I love it.
Yeah. But I think that was,
I was going to ask you, so I've never been very physically active because of my fatigue and all of that. After my explant, should I get a lymphatic massage like every day while I'm in the clinic?
It's a great question. So the way that I talk about this, actually, let me show you. I'm just going to show this to you right now. Did you see that little module I had in there?
On like what to do after you explant, like supplements and stuff to take?
No, the lymphatic one. Did you see this? Can you guys see my screen?
No, because I only started looking into it like on Monday. So but it's amazing. I'm blown away by what you've put together.
Oh, thanks. So, why can't I see it? It's on the bonus section. Let me go back. So I talk about lymphatic massage and drainage a lot in this program because drainage is critical. There it is. Bonus material, bonus lymphatic support and treatments. Yeah. So I put together all the things that I wish I had known when I went through this whole thing, and literally for a year sat for sometimes 16 hours a day until 3 a.m. putting this stuff together, doing research. This is me 3 days after my surgery. And I had, I actually
3 days. Wow. You're sitting up properly. Jesus, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I did a video.
Wow.
I actually did a video. These are my friends. They turned into my friends, as many of my clients do. I end up becoming very close with them, we become family. And she was referred to me. These two were referred to me by Kat Meyer when I had a podcast with her. And so she was feeling like she was in and out of the ER with all kinds of ear infections and sick all the time. She didn't even have breast implants. So, you guys, these things can happen to anybody, and it could feel like breast implant illness. Could this be caused by my breast implants? Sure. Your symptoms can be, sure, but it's hundreds of things, right? So we want to clean it all up. And so she they came over because they created a course themselves and wanted me to talk about breast implant illness and beauty toxins and detox in general. And they said, how about this? We'll come over, we'll do some filming if you feel up to it, and then we'll give you lymphatic detox treatment. And I was like, well,
Amazing.
sure. So, we did that. And I talk about here, the self-lymph treatment. So there's self-lymph treatment. I teach you how to do that by introducing to some of my friends who are global lymphatic experts. So I highly recommend that you do self-lymph treatment. I recommend this to everybody every day anyway, breast implant illness or not, because 75% of your body's fluid is lymphatic tissue and lymphatic fluid. That determines what is dumped into the bloodstream. So, beyond just blood testing, we got to look at, what is the root cause of what's dumping infections and toxins into the bloodstream. Many of you are having prickly fingers, neuropathy, nerve issues, cold hands and feet. It just feels like you have general circulation issues, fatigue, you're not detoxing well. You feel like like I said, your digestion's not working. So it's always rooted in the lymph, always rooted in the lymph. So I highly recommend for you, Anna, up until the day you have your treatment, just 5 minutes a day of lymphatic pumping here. And if this is my program, so we could talk about that with you guys too, but that's one of the things that you have access to because I gave that to you.
I had a massage yesterday and I was so dizzy after it. Like dizzy in a just sort of floaty way. And I thought, oh, she stirred up some toxins there.
Yeah. If you do that, and what I'll say is if you guys do massage, so the 3 E's I talk about with anybody that you work with this whole experience, make sure they have education, empathy. I didn't say empathy, education, experience, and empathy. Ideally, they've gone through this journey themselves. They've had breast implants. They understand it. If they don't, if you're working with a massage therapist that works with a lot of people who've had breast implants or they've supported them before to open up drainage or after, then yay, they don't all have to have the 3 E's, but the more that you can get the 3 E's, the better, because they can actually have a heart for what you're going through and they can help you with patience because they know how it feels to feel like you do. But the experience thing and the education, if you're working with a massage therapist that doesn't understand breast implant illness, they might give you a massage treatment like you just did, Anna, that doesn't understand the importance of keeping it really light and just moving gently, because you shouldn't be doing anything too tough right now. And then after your breast explant, having 2 or 3 of those that week after, and even the day after your surgery. I always have to say, talk to your doctor, but you guys can see, if you work with us with the Explant Solution, you can see this interview I did. And he's amazing. Like he works with A-list celebrities in Los Angeles, and they go back to him because he's one of the best that there is. So they're a great power couple. So that answers the question that you had there about how to, there's the balance between doing self-lymph drainage and then having someone else help you because they're a lymphatic expert. So if you just go to someone and say, oh, I'd like a massage, do you know how to do lymph stuff? And they're like, yeah, I've done it before. Move on. It's just like going to a doctor that doesn't know about how to properly remove the capsule.
Yeah.
You don't want auto intoxication, and you want to make sure your bowels are open. You want to make sure that, the toxins that they are dislodging with lymphatic drainage have a place to leave, right? That you're pooping twice a day, that you're sweating enough, you're properly hydrated, which 75% of people are not. And you guys, I always recommend too, I drink 3 of these a day. And so Anna, for you, make sure your water is very clear, Brita, pure. Those things are not going to cut it. Do not drink water out of plastic anymore. Plastic is a estrogen, xenoestrogen, just like our breast implants are. They'll drive up, fake estrogen in your body, cause things like, weight gain, the swelling. It'll cause cysts, tumors, ovaries, more cancers. That's what xenoestrogens do. So 3 of these a day, and add healthy, either Himalayan salt or some kind of a volcano salt to this. You need salt in here, not table salt, but you need salt in here so that the water can get into the cells and hydrate you. Otherwise it'll pass just right through your body. So this is very important too, especially for getting a lymph drainage massage. Yeah, for sure.
There's someone in the group. Thank you, Maria. She said that she's got a Berkey filter, and I've just realized I've got one that I can take with me to the clinic.
Oh, that's great.
So thank you, Maria. That's great.
Yeah, definitely. We got some smart ladies here.
I know.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Berkey is great.
What do you think of hydrogen water?
Yeah, hydrogen is just restructured water,
Mhm.
right? You could restructure water using things like salt. You know,
Yep.
there are certain things that you can do. You could also do the, not to take away from your question, but yeah, hydrogen water is great, but I think it's important to have a proper system that actually detoxes the heavy metals, the benzodiazepines, the breast or the birth control.
Mhm.
I just tested my heavy metal test I just did for myself when I moved to Sedona. I live in Sedona, Arizona. When I moved here, I was like, why do I feel like crap? Is it the desert? Is it because I'm dehydrated? And I did my metals test, and I was like, whoa, off the charts arsenic and off the
Wow.
charts thallium. And I was like, what is going on here?
Mm.
And I did some research and found out that the artesian water that we were using here, because we hadn't yet installed my water system here, is extremely high for those two things because it's in sediment.
Shit.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I was having urinary tract infections like crazy. And it was like, what the hell's going on? I was in urgent care 3 times in 1 year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, taking antibiotics because I couldn't figure out what the hell's going on.
Oh,
And then I
God.
tested my metal levels, and I was like, okay, well, that explains it, because my kidneys were having to work hard, you know?
Mhm.
So you guys might have these things come up before you explant or after you explant. Think it's all my breast implants, but it could be your water, you know, it could be your water. So hydrogen water is great because it's already kind of a system that your body can absorb
Mhm.
and hydrate you better. But most importantly, you got to have
Clean
a
it
system.
first.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have to add the minerals back to it, because we used to have 86 plus trace minerals in our soil. And
Mhm.
now, anybody want to guess how many we have in our soil? The soil that our plants grow in, the soil where our water comes from, the soil where the animals eat the food that we eat. Guess how many minerals are left out of 86?
Probably less than half.
4.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No wonder why we're so damn sick. 98% of our hormones are made from minerals.
Jesus.
It takes 11 minerals to make a thyroid hormone. And we wonder
That's
why we
blown
have
my
thyroid
mind.
disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So we got to keep going back to like the root of 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 the problem.
Mm.
Otherwise, you guys are going to be on, like, people are going to put you on like 10
Thyroxine.
different, you know, yeah, they're going to say take GABA, and they're going to say, you know, take sodium, and they're going to say take magnesium, and they're going to take potassium. And then you're like on 10 minerals. And then you add that to, you know, the prescriptions that you take, you add that to the liver detox supplements, you add that to the, you know, hormone things, and you take L-lysine because you got herpes and stuff. And you're what? So this is what I see all day long. Here's my handful of 30 supplements. And I'm like, can we consolidate this down to 5?
Yeah. Speaking of that, do you want to show everyone your supplements? Because I was looking
Oh, sure.
on them the other day and I was like, oh my God, I have to get these.
Yeah.
You formulated some amazing things.
Oh, thanks, Anna. Yeah.
And like you said, it's like you don't have to take 50 things. You've got a lot of things packed into, it's 5 products, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly why I did that. I've been researching how to customize supplements for women specifically for 5 years. And after being frustrated enough to be like, okay, there's just nothing, you know, whenever I can't find something that is good enough for what I'm looking for, I'll write it. I'll write it, or I'll produce it, or I'll make it. And thanks to Anna, I've been introduced to, you know, Jamie Ike, David Ike's son, who we made a docuseries called Dying to be Beautiful. So, you know, I'm so grateful to Anna for, you know, us all being
you did
family.
an amazing job. People have to go watch it. It's incredible. And yeah, you can sign up for a free trial to watch it at Iconic, which is ICKONIC.com. And yeah, you'll be able to access Diane's series. And I've also got series in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Anna and I have been hard at work in getting the truth out there. The Dying to be Beautiful series is a 10-part series where we talk all about this stuff. Deborah asked, what are good minerals? And my response to that is add trace minerals to your water for sure. And I'm not going to get specific on like brands and stuff. Concentrace is a good one. But that's like, I talk about all the supplements and stuff in the programs that I have, and when we'll show you in a minute, but the minerals that I have, let me just share my screen here and I'll show you.
I've got a friend that's in the States who's going to bring a suitcase full of things back for me, and your supplements are going to be in there.
Oh,
And they're such a great price as well. I was really impressed
Yeah,
by
I
the
really,
ingredients and the prices as well.
yeah, I wanted to make it affordable for everybody because, like I said, I just see so many women spending, you guys are out there spinning your wheels and you're spending a lot of money and you're like, I'm taking the supplements, but I'm not feeling that much different. So I'm like, well, why would you keep paying for it? Right. You're not going to keep paying for something that doesn't change your life. So, if you go to my website and then click on Chi supplement line, Chi stands for cleanse your body, heal your hormones, ignite your life. In this case, we're cleansing your body, healing your hormones, your gut, your trauma, and your brain, and igniting your soul's purpose, because it's really hard to dream into something that you want with your future when you're living a nightmare and symptoms, right? So,
yep.
So, here's what they look like, and we won't spend too much time here, but a third of women who have breast implants are attacking their own collagen and things that are made of collagen. So when I was going through my struggles, I was experiencing, I aged what felt like 10 years and 1 year toward the end of it. And guess what? I tried Botox. And I got—
Me too. I tried it once or twice a few years ago.
Did
but
you
you
feel
look so much better now. Like as soon as you had
Thanks.
them out, you just look younger and like you're just more vibrancy.
Yeah. And
So
that's
you
what
can
happens.
tell it's working for you.
For sure. And it's not always like an overnight thing. You see all those overnight pictures and you're like, okay, I'm healed and that's it. I've been truly working hard at rebuilding my system because yes, your body can help rebuild itself, but it needs some assistance because it's been struggling for 20 years. Your immune system has been trying to push these things out for 20 years. And that applies to every woman. No immune system says, oh, great, I love breast implants. They're filled with 30 plus toxic heavy metals and fillers and things. No body, because your body is designed to push out non-native things. So every single person's immune system is working 24/7 overtime, trying to push these things out. And that's why the capsule's formed. It drains your immune system. It will drain your zinc. Your zinc level is one of the minerals that is a precursor to making testosterone and progesterone and thyroid hormone. Zinc is super important. It is also important for your immune system, right? So you guys hear like, oh, for your immune system, take Z, C, D, and zinc. Yes, but what things are draining zinc from your body too, right? And that's whatever our body's having to work hard at with it, which is pushing these implants out. So what I put together in this whole thing is that about a third of women who've had breast implants are attacking our own collagen parts, a third. And so collagen is really important, but also making sure that your body's even absorbing collagen is just as important. And as long as you're still toxic after breast implants and you don't do a proper detox, that stuff again could just be flying right through you. So what we want to do is fix the integrity of your cell so it's not inflamed by pulling out the toxins and then putting back the good stuff. So a lot of people do the opposite. They take good stuff, but then there's still bad stuff in the cells and it just will fly right through you. So that's why it's really important to do a proper detox and fix the cell as well. It's not just about detox. It's about removing the source of the toxins and then starting to add some of the good stuff back, fixing the integrity of the cell, reducing inflammation, and then improving your methylation. So your body's detoxing on its own and you're not co-reliant on supplements. But the ones that you are taking, I put together everything that a woman needs in one place as a staple. So like you talk about building a pyramid. A lot of people are up here on the top of the pyramid getting relief care. Oh, I need to take some Tylenol. Oh, I need to take some, zinc separately, or I'm going to take some, what is the other thing I was going to talk about? B complex and iron. But the base of all of this, if you have this covered, you might not need to spend all this here because you're working with the root structure of your tree, which is why that's my logo. We're working at the tree, the root level. So there's hormone hottie in here is where this is all the cofactors and base foundational things that your body needs, especially before explant. Granted, your doctor will tell you have to get off things before explant. However, I do cover that in my program, Explant Solution.
It was really good, helpful.
Yeah. Thanks. That's one that I really had to refine a lot. And I worked many, many hours on refining because I've heard a lot of feedback from a lot of doctors and I work on a team of doctors too. And it's very contradictory. So as long as you're not taking things that thin your blood because of the surgery, then you should be good. But I talk about that in my program to get more specific. So Detox Diva is very supportive so that your liver is letting go of the stuff, right? And then your gut goddess one is a probiotic so that your body has the microbes that it needs to allow you to form a healthy poop and boost your immune system. Beauty Builder is like the multi. So I've seen so many women's multis, and they're like tiny, tiny bits of stuff. It's like 33% of the total daily value of this. I'm like, that's not going to do much of anything. Yeah. You're going to absorb maybe 30% of it if you're lucky. So I put what's called therapeutic doses, and these are practitioner grade. And this is the brand that is doctor approved.
Wow.
And this is what most doctors are using. So you can see right here, lysine. A lot of women are taking lysine because they get like viral infections, and especially herpes. One or two, depends. But lysine, I recommend you're taking 500 milligrams a day, and that keeps the herpes away. Every person's different, but that's what I say to women. And so I put lysine in there. There's green tea extract. N-acetylcysteine is extremely important to get at least 500 milligrams a day for detox. But a lot of women's multis might have like 50. And they're like, I get this vitamin coder. And I don't want to bash brands, but they're just not enough. And then copper, manganese, or minerals that you guys were asking about. What minerals? Those are things that make our hair thicker. So copper will grow your hair thicker, it will prevent you from getting a lot of gray hairs too. Vitamin C is important, at least taking 500 milligrams a day, a minimum, but I have lots of clients on 3 grams a day, especially before and after breast implants removal. IV is great. 25 grams of IV vitamin C is actually great before and after your explant surgery. But of course, that's doctor administered. That's some of the things I work with patients to help them on. You got lots of minerals, vitamin Bs, you got the complexes, and look at this zinc, 30 milligrams. What you will see, and if you guys want to even get your bottle of your multi, you'll see the average of zinc, you'll see 5 milligrams.
It's crap, isn't it?
That's crap.
Yeah.
If you get 30% absorption, it's like maybe
not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I always tell people at minimum, take 30 milligrams of vitamin C and you take that daily. And biotin is look how much biotin's in there. So I just stacked it.
That's
I was
great.
like, here's all the things that women need. Yeah. So,
and it's still a great price. That's what is mind blowing, because they're all really incredible levels.
Yeah.
So would
I wanted you guys to have that right there.
Really, and breast implants or not, am I right in saying any woman should be on these all the time?
Yeah, exactly. I designed this for every average woman who feels like she's struggling and she's doing all the things, especially with her supplements, and she's not feeling better. Like I said, if I'm going to design and take the time to create a line of supplements, this will be this will be a line where women say, if I don't take these, I don't feel as good. And so I tested them out for years, trying to figure out what things did truly make me feel better. And these are the ones that if I'm not taking them, I'm more tired, I'm more moody, I'm more irritable. I'll pick more fights with my boyfriend. I'm picking more fights within my own head. I just don't have patience. I have ADD. I'm not focused. I'm not sleeping well. I don't recover after workouts very well. I get puffy. I'll get zits. So those are all things that I noticed, or I'll have my face will start feel like it's sagging again. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the integrity of your skin depends on what you're able to absorb within.
Yeah.
So I put all this together and I said, you know what, this would be like $250 if you got all of them separately, but I just said, let's do it for less than $200 and you guys put it on auto ship. And these are just great staples for every woman to be on. The only thing that would be a duplicate if you have if you're on a detox program or something, is you might get something like a liver support. But this Detox Diva is more like the cofactors and the things that helps your liver to let go. It's not necessarily it doesn't pull heavy metals out. It won't pull a lot of the xenoestrogens out, but it's more like a supportive thing so that your liver can detox some of the things that are in your blood and stuff. So it's not a hardcore detox, but it supports your liver and your gallbladder, which, 96 to 98% of the bile that your gallbladder makes. Bile, the purpose of bile is to bind to fat soluble toxins, right? And so what it does is your liver will release this bile to bind to any toxins that you're consuming or that's leaking through your body with breast implants or whatever. And it goes, okay, bile, it dumps it into the colon so that you could poop it out. The problem is that we're not pooping out the toxins as quickly as your body is sending it down for processing and excretion. So whatever you can't excrete, it goes back up. So this 96 to 98% of bile that gets dumped in your colon, if it can't get out, it goes right back up. And it takes all those toxins back to the gallbladder. What is the number one most common thing that women have removed as far as a body part?
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
Is
That's,
it?
yeah,
Jesus.
that's
Wow.
why. So,
That's bad.
so it's really sad. And so ladies, this is why it's so important, not just to go get your explant done. It's important to have your drainage pathways open before you go to your surgery, after you're done with your surgery, drainage. Cause so many women are like, oh, what detox do I do? What detox supplements do I take? Or, you know, they think, okay, I'm going to get some massage done and I'm going to get a couple, of my lymph massages. And I'm done. We have more work to do, ladies, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And many, many women take the long path and they do all the things I've talked about here the wrong way. And it's not because you don't know better, or it's not because you're stupid or people are wrong. It's just because we don't know the full journey. So it could be like a long path and a really windy path, and you won't invest as much time and energy into it within the very beginning, and it's easy. Or you could take a little bit more difficult, which is taking more time now and getting there straight and feeling. I climbed to the top of a mountain in 6 weeks after my surgery. I lost 15 pounds. I lost 5% body fat. And I climbed to the top of Mount Baldy, which is a 5,000 foot elevation climb in 1.5 hours. Yeah. I literally was on top of the world.
That's amazing. Did you cry when you got up the top?
I took my shirt off.
I love it.
I even take the pictures in my book, and I was with 4 of my girlfriends, and I inspired them all to take it off and just like, we're free, free the tatas. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't need to be hard, you guys. So, that was to answer your question. Anna, what else can I help you with? And I want to start moving into some Q&As too, because some of you guys have really great questions here.
I don't know, maybe just what are some things that got you through the recovery process? Because it's going to be a lot of lying down, I guess, for me.
Mm-hmm. Like, what did I do to pass the time kind of thing?
Yeah,
or how did I?
Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I talk about in my program, the Explant Solution, which Anna will share a link. If you could share a link in the comments, Anna, that'd be cool. So people can see that. I had, first of all, my family there with me. So I talk about a lot about your A team. I call it your A team.
Yeah.
Could be A cup, but I'm talking about like A team. Yeah. And so I had I had my chiropractor down the street, my parents that came and stayed with me. That was really cool. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time, so they came over and cared for me because the first 3 days were really difficult. I got fat transfer, and I don't always recommend that in the first surgery. Yeah. And the reason why is because your bodies are already in like a code red. So knowing what I know now, and I've done several podcasts and several different people's shows on this, and I talk about in the 10-part series, Dying to Be Beautiful, I talk about in my program, what I would have done different, is that I would have done fat transfer the second surgery, even though I'm very happy about the shape and everything. And my nipples are now centered and not downward facing nipples because I had double D's. I'm happy. I would have done the explant and the lift, and that's it. But the fat transfer, it was so painful. So you're not doing that, Anna, right? You're not doing fat transfer. Yeah. No. So that was very painful. I talk about that in my program, which, compression garments, how to buy compression garments, what sizes to get, how to gauge them. And, if I didn't have my parents there after, I would have been struggling. I've had women who I've worked with as clients who have just hired people to come over and help them because they don't have family around. I'd recommend having family around, but the 3 days after, I just had good books. I slept a lot. I did use my pain medications. So you guys don't opt out of them just because you've heard bad things about Vicodin or hydrocodone. Maybe you have a reaction to certain ones, but ask for another, or just take like high levels of Tylenol, or have some CBD around that has been tested for heavy metals and approved that it's not in the formula, right? So have a good CBD formula. Test out how much your body will tolerate and is happy with before explant surgery. And even take some before so that it can minimize the blow. If you do a lot of the things I talk about in my Explant Solution program, as well as in my book, but more so in the Explant Solution, I wrote this book and I got letters and emails from so many of you who were like, this is great, but and you asked another question. And I was like, you know what? I got to write a program, because some of these things require like how we're doing right now. You can't put into words what I'm saying here. So it's easier for me to speak into things. And I have like documents, downloads, protocols, checklists, what supplements to take. There's like 5 I recommend you take before. for sure. You know,
Yep.
serapeptase is one of them. High doses of serapeptase, vitamin C is another one. Good probiotic is another one. Vitamin C is another one. And so I talk about all of that and the doses and the right kinds, because you guys can take high dose vitamin C, but it's not even absorbable. So make sure that I'm giving you an answer, Anna, so that your healing after will be easier if you prepare for it prior to the right way. Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't do these things before as much as I wish I would have, but I've been helping women now do, you know, hundreds of women from all around the world do this the right way now. And I've gotten lots of good results from the ones I'm talking about in the program. I had good documentaries to watch. I just had good books. I had a couple friends who were like Reiki masters, shamanic friends of mine who came over and prayed over me and did ceremonies.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So having a good friend structure is really important, and people who really truly believe what you're going through. I mean, I literally lost almost half of my friend group I had before because I was living in Orange County. A lot of them had fake boobs.
And they didn't want to hear what you were saying.
Nope. They ran from the truth. And ladies, this is not personal. They don't run from you. They run from what you represent and what they make you. So know that too. It's important to have your A team of people who really care. And I had like, the pillow is back over there, but I had, you know, some good pillows to prop up. I had all the things I got ready before was kombucha. I love kombucha. I had to have like, you know, and just the bottles like this, not the big ones, but like the bottles like this, because my mom could just put a straw. Yep. Lots of bone broth. If you could make it the day before on your own and put it in a big old crock pot, that's awesome. I have recipes that I share in my Explant Solution where you could just make it. It's so easy if you don't make it at home. I also had like just nuts and things like that. I had the antibiotics. So all the prescriptions that I might have needed were there. I had my dog with me at all times. My mom helped me change my drains, but you're not doing that. I don't think, you might not have as many drains. Does he use drains?
Yeah. I think
some doctors don't use drains. I thought he didn't for some reason.
Like, they sent over documents I have to read through and then sign, and there was a PDF thing for drainage, like writing down what comes out of the drain. So I'm kind of assuming he does them. Why do some do them and some don't? And
yeah, it's a personal preference. You know, some of them don't think that you really need, but I think that you should, because
it makes sense, really.
Otherwise, it's going to have to go through your liver and your kidneys, and it could like auto intoxicate and go back up again.
Yeah.
So I really think that drains are important, and I recommend that you work with doctors who do. And the number one question I get is like, "What's the doctor that you used?" But also as important as that, you guys, is what should I do after and before to prepare for my surgery so that I can heal? So once you get your doctor squared away, or even still like, and I just put the link to my Explant course. I have a whole list of doctors in there. I talk about how to choose a good doctor. I talk about how I literally spoke to 11 doctors before I chose the one I worked with. And there was insurance fraud happening with the first one. And I would have been the one stuck with that.
Wow.
Yeah. Insurance fraud.
Jesus.
I would talk to many of them who didn't know how to do a proper capsulectomy and block. I talked to other ones who didn't believe that I had the breast implant illness at all. I talked to other ones who were like, "Oh, we can remove your breast implants and let's give you a butt lift too. Let's give you some, blood implants." So I was like,
"Are you serious?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Asshole.
I know. And he's in Orange County.
That's terrible.
It's disgusting.
I don't think any plastic surgeon should ever suggest anything unless you ask them. And even then, of course, they're going to sell you something. But what a jerk.
I know. That's gross. And that's like how we got here, right? Is look at the picture. Look at those girls on Instagram. They have a butt like that. I mean, I was a little tempted, not going to lie. I was like, I was always insecure about my butt.
Now it's worse.
It could have been worse. And here's the thing, you guys, I want to tell you this. I was a bikini competitor, right? I qualified for nationals. I did all the things. And I was like, well, that was my thing. I'm talking about my book. If you want to win, on stage and get your pro card, you got to have fake tits. And I was like, okay. So I did. And what it did is that when you had breast implants, it pulls your shoulders forward, right? Now your spine's out of place. You think you could squat down low when your spine's out of place, right?
No.
So I couldn't squat as low. So my butt was getting flat because I couldn't squat properly because my spine was out of place. So guess what happened? Took my breast implants out. Over time, I could squat deeper.
Squat well. Yeah.
Yes, I could squat
That's
deeper,
amazing.
and I built my muscles, and now I have a butt. Well, I'll show it to you guys. I can see it. My little round butt. I used to have a flat butt. So that's my little round butt.
It's a pretty good butt.
My cute little round
Very
butt.
nice. Yeah.
But before, it was like my back looked like this. And I'm not exaggerating. I was like, I don't even have a butt. So I'm all excited about my butt.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing if I can breathe deeper, because
that's so
I've got like a shallow natural breathing pattern anyway.
Yeah.
But I have heard that once they come out, you feel like you can expand your lungs more. So that'll be interesting. Is that true then?
Yes.
Yay.
Yes. And yes.
Yay.
And yes, Anna. So I was a yoga teacher for 10 years.
Mhm.
And when I got certified to become a yoga teacher in Los Angeles, I had my breast implants and I was teaching people how to breathe properly, but I had these huge boobs and I couldn't up dog. I called it like flat dog. So for me over the years, I'm like, I can't breathe. And these things got so inflamed. And when I took them out, just like many people do report.
Yeah, I can breathe more. That'll be amazing.
I cried.
Because that in itself, wow, was that big a difference?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. And it still is. So it doesn't mean that, you'll always be able to breathe perfectly, because the thing about breath work is that 90% of our lives we're living in fight or flight, and 90% of our thoughts are limiting beliefs or self-sabotage. So we can also create our own, anxiety loop where we're still having like panic attacks and heart palpitations. Women I work with who don't even have breast implants have these issues too. And I help them to find their peace and calm again within. So yeah, I'm excited for you too. About the breathing part. I want to start getting to some of these questions because I got to end this in about 10 minutes. Now. Oh no, Anna, the whole point of this was the whole point of this was to help you get ready for some of yours too. And if there's anything else I could help you with, you know how to get a hold of me. Okay. Let's see. I love all the comments, you guys. Okay. Let me get to some of these questions. I hope this is helping, ladies, because you guys have stuck around the whole time and I want to be honoring of time. We are going to go until about 11:30 to make sure we cover all the questions. And like I said, if there's any I missed, then I'll be doing another little live in the group so that I can answer some of these questions for you guys. Anna did, just as a reminder, she shared, I'll share that in the last like few minutes here, but she shared the Explant Solution, which is a link that takes you straight to that 21 module program. It's a program that's worth over $2,000 in all the support, because I spent myself like $50,000 plus with all the different doctors I work with to learn what not to do, to learn what to do. And I put it in one place. So there's actually a couple programs that have like the before cost of the pre-explant is like, $150, and then you have to pay for another $150 for the after explant. Then there's other things you have to pay for. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put it all in one. And so you have all the support you need in one place.
Amazing. Okay. And I guess, sorry, one thing I was going to say for women that have explanted and they want to get your supplements, you've got a different link. They can just go directly to your website. Is that right? Yeah.
The supplements, what I was just showing you, there's two different types of supplements that I work on. There's the Explant Detox, and the Explant Detox. If any of you guys do that, just let me know that Anna sent you and I take good care of you. The Explant Detox is a whole different protocol where it's just specifically focuses on detoxing, and then healing the cell and methylation and sulfation and just supporting your liver and kidneys so they get a break, and knowing how to detox it takes years. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying that to overwhelm you, but you can't just take a few liver supplements after you detox and then think it's over. Like, we're working with so many toxins, not just breast implants. So you got to give it a good 1 to 2 years. I'm 2 years post explant now, and my body is still
2 years. Is it 2? Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. That's gone quick. I thought it was like 8 months ago. My God.
I know, right?
Wow. That's how long I've bloody left it till now.
It's all good. Don't beat yourself up too much, Anna. We all come to it at the perfect timing. I truly believe that. Okay. So Judy asks, can you get an explant while dealing with breast cancer, a tumor on the side of one breast? That's a great question. And that's one that I would work with your doctor on. But if you have breast cancer, then I would also wonder what kind of breast cancer is it? what are the likelihood? Do they say that you can keep your breasts, or do they need to do a full removal, a mastectomy? But I'm wondering what their treatment protocol is with that. But if they're going to open you up an explant, I've seen women or open you up and remove breast cancers or tumors, then it's a good question to ask them if they could do it at the same time. So I've had women who do it separately. I've had women do them at the same time. It depends on how ready your body is and what state that you're in. So I like to, like I said before, I like to show women, and this is in the program too, there's a YouTube video that I created inside of the Explant Solution where I show you guys exactly the labs that I use with the patients that I work with. And I think that would be a really good start for you to see what the status is of your gut, the 7 eyes I talked about. Also look at the status of your sex, stress, and sleep hormones. Your blood test is not going to show you what this test does. And so it's important to really have good information before you make a decision, right? I always say your doctor might say in general, this, that, and the other, but you are the driver of your own ship. You're your own best doctor. And so we owe it to ourselves and our cells to understand how our body works and to have an operation manual of our body that we understand what your body's trying to say with symptoms, because most of us know, more about how to operate our iPhone or our car than we do our own body. So that's what the Explant Solution is all about, is so that you guys can learn not just only about removing the breast implants. It's also your self-talk. It's about how to properly detox. It's about knowing when your body is ready for serious stressful events like you're talking about, Judy, and also how to prepare for a surgery, no matter what it is, explant or not.
Isn't there a link between root canals and breast implants?
Huge.
Yeah.
Well, no, breast cancer.
Yeah. Sorry. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Brain fog.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So whoever said that they have cancer, I'm so sorry to hear that, but maybe it's worth checking about a possible link if that could ring true. And then the other thing I've heard that is good to help with breast cancer is painting iodine on the breast that has the tumor in it. Do you agree with that as well?
Yep. And I was doing that even before I had my breast implants removed. I was doing iodine on my breasts. There's a lot of things. I also, talk about in the Explant Solution what things to add to your breast to support lymphatic drainage and lymphatic flow, because if drainage is number one, you guys, please focus on drainage before detox. I'm going to say it 5 times. Ready? Everybody say it with me. Drainage. Before detox.
Yep.
Drainage before detox. Drainage before, in other words, have your drainage pathways open, and as much as you can every day before you go through, you're pooping twice a day, you're urinating every 4 hours. If you urinate anymore, it means that you're filled with other stuff that you need to address. Make sure that your skin, you're dry brushing, you're doing lymphatic drainage, and then make sure that you're properly breathing. So you're not, shallow breathing as much as you can, meditation and things like that, taking a break out of your day. So drainage before detox. Otherwise, these things just get trapped. And like I said, they'll go back to where they came from and cause autointoxication in the brain. Then you get more brain fog and dementia and things. So
would you suggest for me one day before the surgery, I have just one hyperbaric?
Yeah, for sure. I like, I talk about in the program too, how many I did, how many I recommend, how much you can save. Like the price of one hyperbaric is generally like $150. And I did a series of 10. So even if you spent the money on just the price of the program, you might save money on 2 treatments that you don't need by getting the right amounts and before and after knowing how many, because I did too many. So for sure, 1 before, maybe 2 to 3 after, depending on your situation.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then Maria, can you revisit informed consent again and talk about how to qualify for removal under most insurances, including Medicare? Okay, Madalena, that is a long answer. So I'm going to defer you to get the Explant Solution using the link that Anna just shared, because I literally talk about it for about 30 minutes in there. I actually give you the exact template that you can use with your doctor and their front desk. Use that exact template. That's the template that I use to get me my explant covered. And I save $5,000. So if you get this program, through Anna's link, and it saves you, the price of your explant, you save $5,000. It's worth the investment, right? So it's only $100 to $300 program. So there's the whole thing in there. I go over the entire thing. So it's a good question. And I want to make sure you get support on that. Let me know once you get the program. and you listen to those modules, exactly what questions you might have. Okay. And then do you sell the products that you use for your complete detox? Yes, Rita. If you go to explantdetox.com, you can learn more about that. And we have a waiting list right now, but you could always apply. And if there are women that I'm working with, that if I have enough space, then I'll let some people in. Usually our waiting list is anywhere between 2 weeks to 4 weeks. But if you're somebody that I can see that I need to work with right now, or your surgery is coming up, then we make room in my team. So yes on that. And then Nazila, I have an appointment, need to leave 11. Will you have replay? Yes, I will. I've been contemplating doing this, but I have been hesitating and resisting it, knowing that I must do it at some point. Yes, I will send that to you, Nazila, because everybody who registered is going to get that. Artie says my explant lab result only said no malignancy. I thought more was going to be tested. You have to make sure that you're asking them for the right things. So I talk about this in the Explant Solution, because if they don't test it the right way, you'll never get the answer. So it's really important to know exactly what to say. And I talk about the exact thing to say in the Explant Solution, because you're right. Doctors, insurance companies, labs, they don't know all this stuff. This is still a new animal to them. So I put all of this stuff in the protocol in my program, so you know exactly what to say. So there's no questions. And I'm sorry to hear that, Artie, because there are like 10 plus different types of bacterias and pathogens that they test for that they commonly see. Klebsiella is one of them. Also, so too is Pseudomonas. You're going to see a lot of these things are very common with women. Also, one that is responsible for causing like acne type things all around the body. And that's, I can never pronounce the first word right, the species, but it's got aureus at the end, like acne aureus or something like that. So that's also very common in women. No wonder we can't get rid of our acne, right? When we got capsules that are carrying these, bacteria inside of the capsules that no antibiotics will ever get to, because it's protected right there. Yeah. So no malignancy, they're just probably talking about BIA, ALCL. You want to make sure they're actually testing for the right cancer, because a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. I'm post explant Dr. Rankin, August 31st. Yay, Maria, congratulations. I really didn't know if my issues are reversible. I'm working with Dr. Steph Young. She's been great, and I will continue. I have high SLE under ANA blood work, high levels inflammation, 30 pounds, 40 pounds overweight. I wonder if I could reverse if I had major hair loss that started right around my explant got so bad. It's finally slowing down. Will my 60% hair loss grow back? Not if you're just doing blood work, sister. Gotta be frank, gotta be honest. If you're just doing blood work, sorry, but we're not getting anywhere close to the roots, anywhere close to the soil. Your tree, if you're just looking at a tree and going, let's look at these leaves and work with the branches, that's what blood work is. We have to get into your lymphatic. We have to know how toxic that you are. We have to know what's going on in your gut. And like I said earlier, if you have different species of bugs that are eating your minerals like zinc and copper are really important for hair growth, as well as to make thyroid hormones. There's 11 hormones that make thyroid, a thyroid molecule. If those mineral levels are off and you're just going after inflammation and reducing it or whatever, then we can't grow it back. But yes, these things are overcomable and reversible. I grew back my hair 2 times thicker within a year after explant. Yeah. And that's using my supplement line. And many other things too. So you got to get the toxins out too. So yes, it's possible to come back, but if you're just doing blood tests, sister, we're not getting anywhere close to addressing the root cause, right? Literally the root cause. Do you do HTMA and GMAP testing and we could order with you, Sarah? Yes, we do. And more. So I love HTMA. I love GMAP, but HTMA is limited, very limited, as the only source to test for metals. If that's what you're doing it for. Many people don't do heavy metal testing properly. I've seen practitioners run lab tests that people are spending thousands of dollars for, and they don't even do the prep work okay, which means you're wasting $500. So I'm not just saying that just to sound like, these people are wrong, but there's just a lot of people don't have experience with women with breast implants to know how to properly run these labs. So yes. So if you're interested in that, Sarah, just go to explantdetox.com. And when you apply, make sure that you say that Anna Rogers and Diane, you did a webinar with us, because I'll take special care of you. Artie Dewey says laying down for several days isn't good for healing. Yep, that's not a question, but I totally agree. You need to move your lymphatic flow and mitochondrial health. It's very true. I talk about that in my program too, getting your lymph moving, rebounding, just not like a lot of bouncing, but just rebounding enough where you're getting lymphatic movement. Will a surgeon or plastic surgeon do the removal? Yes, plastic surgeon will do that. Make sure you have one. And I talk about that in my program too. You can also go to dianekaiser.com/resources, where I have several doctors listed there, but not the entire list. the ones who actually know what they're talking about and have been doing these mostly exclusively, the explant. Will a woman feel beautiful after explant removal that were put in after bilateral mastectomy? Well, that's up to you, sister. That's your mindset, right? I have a lot of women who don't even have breasts and they just get nipple tattoos, but you are not your breasts. And so that's a lot of mindset work. And I have 2 entire modules, an hour and a half, where I talk about mindset, self-love, belief patterns, and how to get the programming of you're not beautiful as you are out of you. So that's really important. And I totally agree. We need a community for this to take back our beauty. Root canals and upper wisdom teeth are linked to breast cancer. After my explant, my upper wisdom teeth stopped being sensitive. That's great. Yes, that's not a question, but I totally agree with that. Yay. And then last one. Oh, wait. I'm about to get heavy metal tested. Those aren't questions. Yay. Maria, make sure that with heavy metal testing, you're not just doing blood is not even close to what you need. HTMA can help, but a challenge test with DMSO is important. And then also there's a third test that looks for different kinds of heavy metals that are organic and inorganic. So there's many different ways to test it. But I think that if you go to my website and click on our toxins, the root cause of my symptoms, beyond just blood work, you need to also understand the symptoms that you have and how toxic that you are considering symptoms. And I give you a whole protocol to follow using the supplements we talked about today and more based on what your score is. So what I'm trying to prevent is you guys going and spending like tens of thousands of dollars sometimes on tests that you don't need. There's other things that you could do well prior to before you go down that path. So doing this stuff before you get explant won't really make a difference, Maria. So do that afterwards, I would say. Thoughts on whole body vibration plate for lymphatic movement? Yes, definitely after. I like that stuff for sure, but it depends on also what kind of surgery you're doing as far as when to start that. How can I chat with you offline, Maria? Yeah, go to my website. And if you click on dianekaiser.com/call, you could apply to have a call with me. I don't get on the phone with everybody because I get a lot of people who apply to get on the phone with me. But I do offer a 15-minute complimentary consultation to see what kinds of things that we might be able to do in the team, because I have a whole team that helps us with all of these things. I think that's it, but I got to get going, you guys, because I have an appointment in 10 minutes and it's a 5-minute drive time. But I have lots of other things that you guys were commenting on in the chat box that were some questions I saw, but I will get to those in the Facebook group. That's where it will live. And within 24 hours, all of you guys are going to get this replay. Okay. Everybody's going to get the replay of this. And if there's anything that I missed, feel free to go in the Facebook group and you can tag. Anna, do you want to be tagged if they have a question too? Or do you want to just
yeah, I don't mind. Okay. I might not be able to answer it, but yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, you can maybe learn from it or whatever. If you guys have any questions, I just want to involve everybody and make sure we're all learning together. So if you guys have any questions that weren't addressed here, you could go in the Facebook group. If you're not in Anna's Facebook group and you came from my community, go to Anna's Facebook group, which is the Ticking Time Bomb. And you will see in there, you can tag me or Anna, we're both admins, and then we'll get to the answers as quickly as possible. Usually just give me at least 24 hours. So yeah, and if you guys want to talk with me privately, dianekaiser.com/call, just make sure you let me know that you came from Anna or how you know me. So I make sure that I always like to say thank you for the people who are lending an olive branch to the person who needs support. So you guys, awesome questions today. Thank you for sticking around to the end. And as far as the freebie, I'm going to be sending that to you in the email as well. So if you go to dianekaiser.com/resources, I have not shared that page with anybody yet, but on there you will get the toxic truth about breast implants and what to do about it, which is the ebook on there, as well as the links for all this stuff. If you are going to purchase the Explant Solution, I have a special thing organized with Anna Rogers, so that follow the link inside of the group here. And where is it? She put it link here, tiny URL. So if you guys are listening to this later, reach out to Anna for her specific link because it's in there. Okay. But I'm looking forward to helping all of you. This journey never ends. Feeling beautiful in our skin will be our life's work. And I mean that. You already are beautiful the way that you are. It's just a matter of believing it in your mind. And you would not believe, Anna, after I did that docuseries, the Dying Beautiful, when Jamie posted it, and there are so many people who were like, well, it's easy to think you're beautiful when you look like you do. I'm like, you think I was just born this way? I work hard. I work hard at my beauty. I work hard to feel my beauty. And it's a very toxic world today. So if we don't do anything, we could look ugly from the perspective of we're ill.
Yeah.
We're ill.
To me, beauty is about health.
Yeah, it truly
You know,
is.
someone
It
can
truly
be
is.
beautiful by having the most beautiful white sparkly eyes. You know, it's not always about like everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with that 100%. Anna, they're asking you to put the link in the email. Talking fast. I know, Deborah, I'm trying to cover a lot, and I try to get all the answers down because I want to make sure I'm not late to my appointment.
It's weird because I've added that link in there like 4 times, but maybe it doesn't come up when I add
Post it again.
Okay, I'm putting it in right
She
now.
might be asking about, there you go. She might be asking about the links I mentioned too, but you'll get it in the replay. DianeKaiser.com/resources might be the one that you're talking about. Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you so much. Thanks, Anna. I'll be in touch with you before your surgery, of course. And if there's anything that you guys need, let me know, but you can always go back, and I'll just share this one last thing before we get going here so that you can see once again what Anna was talking about and referring to with regard to the program. And you can see all the things that I've covered in here. Just one second.
I think it worked now. I had to, thank you, Sarah, for telling us about that. Yeah, I had to click add to attendees so that everyone sees it. Yeah.
Okay, so here's where it is right here. This is what is in the Explant Solution, Overcoming BII. There's 21 modules. My story in getting the heart of yours. What's breast implant illness? Do I have BII? Choosing a surgeon, working with your insurance, proper explant procedures, how to have beautiful breasts before and after, crucial conversations with your loved ones, scans, labs, and toxic load assessments, creating your A-team of health professionals. And then a lot of this too goes along with the book too. So they each have something to offer. Finances and explant, saving money and what to expect. So not wasting your money on things you don't need. Diet before. I give you my entire recipe book in there as well. My Warrior Cleanse recipe book with other things for explant women specifically. Fitness pre and post, reducing toxic load in beauty and beyond, other things that make us toxic. Recommended products, things to prepare for surgery, explant checklist and travel packing guide, top 5 myths to reframe, advanced detox, life after explant, changes to expect. That one will make you cry probably. And probably module 20 as well. It makes a lot of women cry. This whole process made me cry, but that's actually cleansing the stories that don't serve you, right? And then going deeper and pulling it all together. So that's what it looks like. That's a little journey that you guys can take. Yeah, it's truly a game changer, and there's nothing out there like it. So I think it's the handbook every woman needs, that in the Killer Breast book. So Anna, thanks for creating this. Thanks for putting me on this path. Thank you for doing the work for yourself. Thanks for being here.
You're going to make me cry.
Well, we're sisters from afar. You know, we're sisters from afar, and we're doing some good work. And
we're going to meet this year. I'm certain about that. I'll make my way over to visit you with my kids who
and
are
hug
annoying.
Without breast implants.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Please bring your kids.
That would be so cool. Yeah. Oh, lots of love. And thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If this episode really tugged at your soul and you're ready to have your personal breakthrough, we would love to have a heart-to-heart with you to get you crystal clear on 3 things. What do you want? What's standing in your way? And how do we get you to your soul goal in the fastest time possible? Visit my site, DianeKaiser.com/call to schedule your free 1-hour connection session with one of our warriors to map out exactly how you want to look, feel, and live. We've helped thousands of women warriors just like you all around the world free themselves from the symptoms and suffering they never thought possible. And you just might be our next success story. Talk soon.